We're good. I'll call this meeting of the agenda or the executive committee to order. We're gonna have a lot of spectators tonight, so please silence your phones. This meeting was posted by the clerk's office in accordance with the appropriate rules. And everybody's here. We'll rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have two action items tonight. The first is the county clerk fee schedule update. And county clerk will present.
Would you like to make a motion in a second first?
Motion by Supervisor Schultheis, second by Supervisor Bossert.
So in your packet, there was a committee report that kind of explained the changes, and then I also included the fee schedule with the changes noted, and then the updated version that you'll be approving. I just wanted you to be able to see the things that I was removing and what I was changing. And so quite a few of the items that are being removed are just cleanup. We no longer offer plat books, so those are being removed. We no longer offer tear resistant maps because those are no longer being produced. Faxing, we no longer have a fax machine, so that's being removed as well. And then we consolidated the public records requests photocopies into the photocopy fee because it's the same thing. And then you'll notice that passport photos, that is what I'm requesting to increase the fee from $10.42, which we implemented at the end of 2016 and started charging in 2017 when we started offering that service. And I would like to change that to $15, which would bring us more in line with what all other entities are charging. And actually, we'd probably still be on the lower end. That'll cover the increase in materials that have gone up quite significantly since 2017. And then the additional item that I'm adding is the Tower Heritage Center marriage ceremonies. And I outlined that a little bit in the committee report, but that is re-implementing the marriage ceremonies that we had done pre-COVID at the History Center previously. And then we took a pause on those, and then they had a change in leadership at the Heritage Center. And now we are going back to that, and we will be scheduling one day a month to start, unless it has a greater need. But there'll be several marriage ceremonies in a row that we'll coordinate in our office, and we'll have a supplemental court commissioner that will perform ceremonies every 15 minutes. So that fee that you see there, which is $300, is actually shared between the Tower Heritage Center, the supplemental court commissioner, and the clerk's office equally. So we'll each receive $100 per ceremony, which is actually a fabulous deal for the couples, because a lot of our supplemental court commissioners charge at least that for a ceremony that's done in their office or on the front lawn somewhere or wherever. So exciting stuff.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Any questions?
No, I have a question, not so much on your rates, your proposed rates, but just a question, what is a marriage license waiver fee?
So there is, as of July of this year, there's a 3-day waiting period. It used to be 5, where you're not able to actually get married within that 3-day period. And for couples where one person is in the military or they're out of state residents and maybe they can't get here until the day of or the day before their marriage, I have discretion to waive that period of time, and they're able to get married that same day then. So it's that fee is set by state statute.
So the waiving is the time period.
Yes. Mhm.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else? There being no comments, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. We'll move on to the County Manor Estates abatement, which will be presented by Attorney Stern. Motion by Supervisor Shadron, second by Supervisor Mary.
So again, there's a report in the packet that sort of details what's going on out at Country Manor Estates and some of the history. I do have an update though to supplement the report this afternoon. Today, the health department and our Department of Natural Resources visited Country Manor Estates to see whether or not there had been compliance with the abatement order, and there has not been. The report that we have today is that there's still sewage bubbling up out of the ground on the surface there. There are photographs that were taken today to indicate that health hazard still exists. It's also reported to me that there appears to be even more refuse and garbage than there had been 30 days ago when our health department was out there examining the site. There has been no action taken by the owners whatsoever. And this afternoon, I filed lawsuit against the owners, what's called the complex forfeiture action, which basically is akin to issuing them a ticket every day that this continues. What we are asking for today is some strategic priority funds so that we can at least get out to the site, we meaning the county, and Highway Commissioner Schmidt and I have had conversations about what this might look like, at least initially, to decommission the pout system out there that's leaking. There are other steps that may eventually need to be taken out there in terms of cleaning up that site. Those are things that the county may or may not have the authority to do. We're still researching some of that. I have been in contact with the town's attorney as recently as today to advise the town as to what's going on. The town is fully aware of what's happening and are cooperating with the county. State law essentially says that if the human health hazard continues, the county has the authority to go onto that property, abate that nuisance, and then seek recoupment of that cost from the landowner. And that's what we're seeking to do at this time. There are still at least a handful of when I say handful, it might be one family that's still out there. I would refer to them as squatters. This trailer park was decommissioned a long time ago, I think 2018, if I'm not mistaken. It's no longer licensed to operate. So there are lots of hazards and problems out there. And this is the first step that needs to be taken in order to start cleaning that site up. So that's the reason we're asking for the money. What I'm told is that the cleanup efforts are approximately $14,000 in terms of the pout system, but there are some other fees that have been already incurred, such as serving notice on the parties of the abatement order. And there may be some legal fees associated as well with the lawsuit I filed today. And so that's why we're asking for a little bit more than the 14 at this stage to cover some initial costs. We may or may not be back at some point in the future asking for additional funds, but the idea is we would recoup those funds from the landowner. And I'll take any questions you might have.
Anyone? Supervisor Mary.
Yeah, question, how, you say the county would recover the funds, how would the county do that?
We can do it through the lawsuit. There's potential to recover it through taxes assessed. We're looking into some of those options right now, but like I said, I filed suit today and we intend to ask for maximum fines out there. And so this is an interesting situation because when you look at the statutes, there's a lot of gray area here as to what we really have the authority to do and not do in terms of evicting tenants and cleaning up structures that are there. But one thing is very clear, that is the county has the authority to go in there and abate the nuisance, the health hazard that currently exists. And then the immediacy, that's the sewage that's bubbling up from the pouts and contaminating the surface area there around those trailers that remain.
And yeah, go ahead, Mr. Krebs.
That's fine. But go ahead and say something.
Thank you, both of you. Would you be repairing the pouts or decommissioning it?
Decommissioning it.
That be considered a self-help eviction in Wisconsin?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else have a comment?
Yeah,
Go on.
one question. What happens to the people who are living there legally or otherwise?
I'm not really in a position that I want to talk too much about strategy in open session at this stage, but we did make sure that they were provided with some information concerning resources to help them relocate. This has been an issue where, and my report does disclose that back when this first came to our attention, right before COVID hit, we went out there with social services, St. Vincent de Paul, Salvation Army was involved, and we helped many, many residents relocate. This particular tenant who remains did not want to leave at the time. And when COVID hit, what had happened was there was a moratorium, as you might remember, on evictions. The county did not have the authority to evict anybody. The purpose of the moratorium was to prevent someone from being evicted because they couldn't pay their rent because they'd lost their job or out of work due to COVID. It wasn't so that you could live in a health hazard or stay in a dilapidated condition. But the owners of the property have been very derelict in their duties and have done nothing that they have been required to do so far, including evicting the last tenants off that property. Now the question is, are they holdovers? Are they squatters? Those are things we're working and researching. And ultimately the town may have the final authority to take steps to remove anybody who won't go willingly. But the county is making every effort possible to try to provide vouchers, resources, social services, and help to whoever needs to get out of there to get out.
Any other questions or comments?
I'm good.
In that case, we'll vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Our next meeting is Wednesday, February 15th at 4 p.m.